I've been recently observing everything that's been going on with Jess Hilarious and just women in general, right? I've been observing, and I'm going to drop the link in the description for y'all to be able to ask whatever questions or give whatever comments that you want to give a little later in the show. But I've been paying attention to what the sentiment is out here in the streets. And it's funny what the evolution of things have become, right? And the reason that I say that is because for so long, we've seen women so gung-ho about remaining independent. It seemed like when things are going well and the economy is absolutely thriving, women get more empowered than ever to continue to lead their families. They want to make sure that they divest themselves and then start living a life for them. There's nothing more prevalent than a woman going independent when things are going well. And vice versa. There's nothing more pronounced when you see women start to try to come back into the fold when things get a little bit rough. I personally witnessed it during the 2008 recession. I've witnessed it during the pandemic. Now all of a sudden everybody want to be cuddle buddies at night. I witnessed it when it came to things evolving, when it came to the inflation exploding out here in society. And now I'm witnessing it in a completely different fashion and form. It's different. It's way different now. And it's crazy because you usually observe it when it comes to it happening with regard to the economy or money start getting tight. All of a sudden you want provision and protection, right? But you don't usually see it happen in this form and capacity, and I don't even think that we've ever seen this before. I think we are in unprecedented times. This is the first time in history that I'm starting to see a shift, not only from a financial perspective, but from a cultural perspective. Think about that for a minute. You've never seen what's happening right now from a cultural perspective. I mean, so much so to where there's infighting amongst women about women. There's infighting amongst women about women. Men are not even a part of the conversation. The only time that we're becoming a part of this conversation is when it comes to us trying to save women from themselves. They're asking and begging. I mean, it's a lot of them that's still holding out. I'm looking at maybe like a 51-49% ratio of women that's saying, you know what, it's fucking hard out here. And I do not want to continue to participate out here and run in these Olympics and then do these self-inflicted wounds. I need me a man. It's like a 51-49% ratio of women that's saying, you know what, I don't want to be out here by myself. And then the other 49% is saying, you know what, but I'm going to hold out because I feel like I still want me a certain type of guy and I'm going to keep my standards up here even though I really only qualify for what's down here. It's unprecedented times. We've never seen a shift like this in history. It reminds me of two different times in history when it came to our political affiliations. Back when we seen the 2008 recession, all of a sudden a black man became available to become elected and he able to articulate himself well. We didn't know he was going to finesse you. You didn't know that his main agenda was going to be making sure that he advocated for the alphabet community, even when he's out of office and he's still penning open letters. You didn't know he was going to finesse you, but that was a time in which people overwhelmingly shifted over to voting for something that they never even experienced before because they wanted to try something new because they were so far under duress. And when people are under duress, oftentimes they make the worst decision for themselves. Let me give you an example. You know why cash advances and payday loans are all in depressed areas? Is because they know that under duress, you ultimately make the worst decision. It don't matter. You don't even read the paperwork when you sign that shit. You don't even read the paperwork when you signed it. You're so far underwater and you just trying to breathe. You just trying to breathe. And so as a result, you will take the worst interest rates and the worst deal in history by signing up for a payday loan to the point to where the federal government had to declare it as predatory. You will take the worst possible deal and you won't even read the paperwork. You will go all the way under because you are so desperate to save yourself from yourself. And that's why they put them in those type of areas. And so when you find people under duress, it's easy to manipulate their feelings. Same thing when it came to the pandemic, right? We seen that we had record unemployment. We were fighting China. We were doing all of these phenomenal things in society. And black people was still saying orange man bad. And they continued to manufacture this hardened economy based off of what? A concoction of Black Lives Matters by using a perceived death from an individual, making it a race war, keeping you distracted, and then compounding that by then having the pandemic exponentially positively mess up what anything that you would think of, right? You lose all of your cognitive functions, you lose all sense, you lose all ability to be able to consume the information and then make informed decisions. And so you just automatically just vote in whatever it is that fucking happened. You had all of the governors in different states that were manipulating and doing the things for the election that then forced you to vote a certain type of way because they promised you a certain thing. And then think about it. They gave you some stimulus checks right then to make you and give you a little bit more hope and then incentivize you to vote a certain type of way. And what did you do? You voted for the thing that's worse for you, and now all of a sudden don't nobody know how Biden got into office. It's the same thing when it comes to relationships. It's the exact same thing when it comes to relationships. When women have the freedom and the opportunity to be able to explore themselves and find their passion and be able to find all of the money and go to school and all of the shit, when everything is, if the getting is going good, then they find themselves out here doing some of the most egregious things. And you know what they did? They aligned themselves with feminism earlier in life. They still doing it. Aligning themselves with feminism, right? And then the feminism movement turned from the black movement, right? Civil rights movement over into the feminism movement. So they hijacked y'all by making y'all think that y'all was under duress and that everything was horrible. And so you broke up your families and you ran away from the thing that was best for you. And then you ultimately leaned into the sexual liberation movement, which was incentivized by the music that you listen to and the people that you follow. And then ultimately you had the concerts and the Woodstock movement. And then we had all of these newer concerts and all of these festivals. And then you had all of your heroes and they gave them to you and they made the music really good and they put great production behind it. And then they put Big Sexy in front of you and she said her booty hole is brown when it was supposed to be pink. How much shit you got coming out of your ass to where your booty hole is brown, fam? I don't care how black you are. Why is your booty hole misgendered, cisgendered?